How many people die before they ever really live? How many wake up one day, old and filled with regret, whispering to themselves, "Where did my life go?" Not because of tragedy, but because of emptiness. A slow, quiet life that never meant anything. There's no tragedy greater than a life unlived. A life where you kept waiting, waiting for the right time, the right job, the right partner, the right sign. And then suddenly, it's over. No music. No fire. Just silence. As if you were never really here. You walked, you worked, you aged, but you never lived. The terrifying part? That's the path most people are on. A comfortable routine becomes a prison. Fear of change becomes their compass. They tell themselves they're being responsible. But what they're really being is asleep. You don't need a dramatic story to waste your life. You just need to keep postponing it. There's a line from Marcus Aurelius that punches straight through the chest: you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. He wasn't being poetic. He was being brutal. Direct. Honest. You might die today. And if you did, would you be proud of the life you've lived so far? Be honest. Would you be remembered for anything real? Or would you vanish the way you lived, quietly, forgettably, meaninglessly? To not waste your life, you must first see just how easy it is to waste it. You must feel the danger of comfort. You must recognize the trap in the voice that says, just one more year, just one more project, just one more step, then I'll start living. That voice is the enemy. It's not the world that kills our spirit. It's the excuses we tell ourselves every day. The ones that feel rational, sensible, adult. But they're slow poison. And the worst part? We drink it ourselves. A wasted life doesn't always look like failure. Sometimes it looks like success. A big house. A decent career. Smiles on social media. But inside? Emptiness. You built a life that others admire, yet you feel like a ghost inside it. You did everything right and still feel wrong. Because you weren't meant to be safe. You were meant to be alive. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." The problem isn't time. The problem is attention. We trade hours of life for things that mean nothing. We scroll, we gossip, we repeat the same days over and over, calling it a life. We must stop confusing movement with progress. Being busy is not the same as being fulfilled. Filling your schedule is not the same as filling your soul. So ask yourself this: what matters to you when the lights go out? What remains when the noise stops? When the world no longer applauds? If you have nothing but silence, what do you hear inside? Because that's who you really are. And that's where your life begins. A meaningful life isn't given to you. It's built, slowly, painfully, through choices. It's forged by what you say no to. It's carved from discomfort. It demands that you confront fear, not avoid it. That you choose growth over safety. That you say, I may not know the path, but I refuse to stay asleep. You don't need to climb a mountain or start a revolution. But you do need to be awake in your own skin. You need to feel the weight of your days. You need to look at your choices and ask, is this making me more alive, or more numb? That question alone can change your life. But you must be brave enough to answer it. Because once you see the truth, you can't unsee it. You'll notice how much time you waste. How many conversations don't matter. How many fears are illusions. How much of your life isn't really yours, it's borrowed. Inherited. Programmed. And once you realize that, you're free. Free to burn the script. Free to stop performing. Free to begin. Because this isn't a rehearsal. This is your one life. So live like it. Look around you. How many people do you know who are truly awake? Who move through life with fire in their chest, not just routines on their calendar? Most walk with their heads down, faces lit by screens, dreams buried beneath deadlines. They are not bad people. Just lost. Numb. Running on autopilot. They wait for something to happen, some external force to change their lives. A job offer. A breakup. A tragedy. As if meaning can be delivered by the world, like a package. But meaning isn't found. It's created. It's not discovered outside, it's awakened inside. And that awakening only comes when you stop lying to yourself. Lying that you'll figure it out later. That your habits aren't killing you. That your boredom isn't a warning sign. that living for the weekend is normal. It's not. It's a quiet form of despair. The Stoics knew this. They didn't ask for more time. They asked for clarity, for courage, for control over their own minds. Because that's where life is wasted first, not in action, but in thought. You don't lose your life when your heart stops beating. You lose it when your will stops moving. You think you have time. You don't. That's the illusion. Life feels long only when you're wasting it. But when you're present, truly alive, you realize how fast it all goes. You feel the urgency. You stop sleeping through your days. So stop waiting for a better version of yourself to show up. Stop postponing your dreams until you're ready. The only readiness that matters is the one you choose in this moment. The willingness to begin, not perfectly, not confidently, but truthfully. Truth. That's the beginning of a life well lived. Be honest about what you want. Be honest about what you fear. Be honest about who you are when no one's watching. Because that's where power comes from. Not from pretending, but from presence. You are not here to impress. You are here to express. To create. To experience. To connect. And none of that happens through performance. It happens through presence. Through truth. Through being fully alive, even in your pain. Especially in your pain. Because pain isn't the enemy. Discomfort isn't the enemy. Numbness is. Disconnection is. The feeling that you're drifting. That your days blur together. That you're alive, but not living. And if you feel that now, good. It means your soul is still speaking. It means there's still time. You don't need a complete roadmap. You just need to turn around. To stop running from the discomfort and start listening to it. To ask, what is my life trying to tell me? It may be whispering something you've been too busy to hear. You're not where you're meant to be. You've outgrown the people around you. You've betrayed your deeper values. You're living someone else's life. These are not curses. They are invitations. Wake-up calls. Proof that your spirit still wants more. That it refuses to die quietly. That beneath all your fears and failures, is someone still capable of transformation. You. But you must choose. You must choose to stop wasting time on things that don't matter. On people who drain you. On habits that numb you. On goals that aren't even yours. You must choose to remember, you are dying. Not in a poetic way. In a real, physical, irreversible way. Every second, closer. So what will you do with that truth? Will you hide from it, stuff your life with noise, distraction, entertainment? Or will you let it set you free? Because the moment you stop denying death, you begin to live. Suddenly, everything matters. The way you speak to people. The way you spend a single hour. The way you treat your body. The way you use your mind. It all becomes sacred. Because it's all temporary. And that's the gift. You don't need more time. You need more intention. You don't need to find yourself. You need to create yourself. And you don't need to live forever. You need to live fully, now. So how do you actually do it? How do you live a life that isn't empty? That doesn't end with regret and the bitter taste of, what if? You begin by paying attention. To what makes you feel alive. To what drains your spirit. To the subtle moments when your soul leans forward or pulls back. Most people don't listen. They override. They silence their intuition in the name of being practical, polite, productive. But your body knows. Your spirit knows. When you're in the wrong place, doing the wrong thing, with the wrong people, it shows. In your energy. In your sleep. In the way you avoid silence because it echoes too loudly with your own disappointment. A life not wasted starts with radical honesty. This isn't working. This isn't me. I'm not proud of this. From there, the shift begins. You start making decisions that don't just look good, but feel right. You stop trying to prove something to the world and start listening to your own inner compass. You stop chasing pleasure and start seeking meaning. You choose discomfort with purpose over comfort without it. And you understand something most people never realize. You don't have to do everything. You just have to do the right things. The ones that leave your soul lighter, not heavier. Seneca said, life is long if you know how to use it. But that's the catch. Most people don't. They fill it. They decorate it. But they don't use it. To use life means to direct it. To make every day a deliberate act of becoming. Not passively absorbing whatever comes, but shaping it. Questioning it. Asking, does this make me more of who I want to be, or less? And if the answer is less, you change. You don't need permission. You don't need a detailed plan. You need the courage to stop moving in the wrong direction. Even if you don't yet know the right one. Stopping is a beginning. In a world obsessed with progress, that's revolutionary. You step back. You reflect. You remove the noise. You strip life down to its essence, what matters, who matters, why it matters. And from that silence, clarity rises. You realize how little you actually need. How many lies you've been sold. How much energy you've wasted proving things that don't matter to people who don't care. A meaningful life isn't about more. It's about depth. The depth of your conversations. The depth of your presence. The depth of your values. The depth of your self-respect. And none of that requires wealth, fame, or status. It requires awareness. Intention. Integrity. That's why the Stoics weren't kings of kingdoms, they were kings of themselves. They ruled not over people, but over impulses. Over excuses. Over distractions. They chose simplicity. They chose clarity. They chose truth. That's why their words echo through time while millions of other lives have vanished without a trace. Not because they lived long, but because they lived fully. You can too. You don't need to retreat to a cave. You don't need to quit your job tomorrow. You just need to begin living like your time matters. Because it does. Every word you say is a moment you'll never get back. Every habit you repeat is a step in the story you're writing. Every decision you make is a vote for the person you're becoming. The question is, are you proud of who that person is? Most aren't. But few are brave enough to admit it. They drown that awareness in entertainment, consumption, distraction. But it doesn't go away. It waits. Silently. Until one day, the silence becomes unbearable. Don't wait for that day. Look in the mirror now. Ask yourself, what am I doing with this life? Not what am I achieving? Not what do I own? But who am I becoming? If the answer makes you pause, good. That pause is the start of change. You were not born to be asleep. You were born to burn. To shine. To leave something behind, not in stone, but in spirit. In the lives you touch. The truths you live. The courage you show. That is legacy. And it doesn't begin later. It begins now. You want to know the greatest tragedy? That most people die before they're dead. Not physically. Spiritually. They stop searching. Stop feeling. Stop asking questions. They accept a version of life that is safe, predictable, quiet, and hollow. And then they spend decades decorating that hollow space, hoping no one notices how empty it really is. But you're not here to be one of them. You're here to wake up. To shake off the expectations you never agreed to. To look fear in the face and say, you don't get to rule me anymore. To stand in the middle of your ordinary life and turn it into something sacred, just by how deeply you live it. Because meaning isn't a place you arrive. It's a way of walking. And you either walk through life asleep, or fully awake. The Stoics had no patience for drift. Epictetus told his students, how long are you going to wait before you demand the best for yourself? That line should haunt you. Because it's not a motivational quote, it's a mirror. What are you waiting for? Another year to pass. Another job to drain you. Another sign from the universe. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you a meaningful life on a plate. Not your parents. Not your boss. Not your partner. Not even your heroes. It's your job. It always has been. You want clarity? Start cutting out the things that make you weak. You want direction? Start walking away from everything that feels fake. You want meaning? Then stop asking what the world owes you, and start asking what you're willing to give. You want purpose? Then live like someone who has something sacred to protect. Protect your time. Protect your energy. Protect your mind. Don't let them be stolen by noise and nonsense. Because once they're gone, they don't come back. A man who protects nothing will live for nothing. But a man who protects his soul, his integrity, his clarity, his fire, will never live in vain. So stop apologizing for wanting more. Stop explaining why you need silence, solitude, discipline, space to think. Stop shrinking your light to make others comfortable in their darkness. Your life doesn't need to be understood. It needs to be lived. Deeply. Honestly. Fiercely. Even if no one claps. Even if no one gets it. Even if it scares you. Especially if it scares you. Because the edge of fear is where life begins. That's where you find the moment you've been waiting for, not wrapped in comfort, but forged in decision. That moment when you say, I'm done waiting. I'm done pretending. I'm done being less than I am. That's the moment you stop wasting your life. Not when you reach a goal. Not when you get applause. But when you reclaim your authority. Over your thoughts. Your choices. Your days. From that point on, you no longer belong to the noise. You belong to yourself. And the world may not notice right away. You won't get a medal. There's no parade for the man who finally wakes up. But inside, something shifts. A silence becomes power. A stillness becomes strength. You begin to walk differently. Speak differently. Move with the quiet force of someone who knows exactly why he's here. And when the day comes that your heart takes its last beat, you won't beg for more time. Because you lived with your eyes open. You lived with fire in your chest. You lived fully, and that was enough.